What's going on, button pushers? Welcome to the channel. My name is David. Today we're going to be talking about the Mitakon 35mm Speedmaster T1.0 lens from Zhongyi Optics. Now, this is a crazy fast lens, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys about it. First of all, shout out to Joe Moore, my boy, for letting me test out this lens with him. He had to shoot a product video for it, and he let me, make a video on it too. I think the first thing we need to talk about is T-stops. If you are new to the lens game or you don't know too much about lenses, there's a difference between f-stop and T-stops. So f-stops are more like designated, like it has to be 1.0, 1.2, 1.4, 1.8, 2.0, while T-stops is kind of gradual. There are in-betweens, but it isn't like, too designated. But there are markings, but it is still gradual. It doesn't jump from one to the next. So this lens allows you to go from an aperture of 1.0 to 16. And an aperture of 1.0, you can already just think about it. It's just creamy, beautiful bokeh, and it's exactly what it gives. But jumping into the video, the actual design of the lens is really nice. I love the black and yellow that contrasts with one another. It's actually a super old school filmic kind of thing that I really like. It's just like a yellow on top of a black. It's just really nice. It contrasts well together and it looks really cool. So the camera comes in 4 different mounts. It comes in the RF mount, the Sony E mount, the Fujifilm mount, as well as the Micro Four Thirds mount. So the mounting options are a bit more limiting. I feel like if they had an EF mount, it would be crazy amazing, but they chose RF instead, which is a little bit weird to me, but honestly I can understand why, especially with the Komodo out here and everybody really trying to get into the Komodo game. It's something to look out for. One thing to also note is that this lens is not a full frame lens. It is a APS-C or Super 35 or any kind of cropped kind of camera lens. So when we had to mount it on the Sony, we had to shoot in APS-C mode. So keep that in mind if you're looking to get this lens. If you're using a full frame camera, you cannot use this lens. You have to crop in. So I feel as if the throw on the lens is a little bit stiff. It is smooth, but I feel like it has a bit of a pull on it. You know how some lenses are super smooth, like the diesel film. It's really nice and smooth. I feel like for some reason, at least on the lens we were testing, it had a little bit of a pullback on it. Like it was really resisting a bit more, which can be good at times, but at the same time, it might be a little bit weird. But while using a follow focus instead, it did work out really nice. It was super smooth, it flowed really well, there was no resistance, everything's turned out really good. So I really like the build quality of the lens as well. It's made out of a really nice metal, so it feels a bit more sturdy than usual. So the lens we were using specifically, it was the Sony E mount, so I couldn't test it out on my camera specifically, so we had to use Joe's A7S III, which still worked out pretty well. It looks really good. The quality coming out of this lens is really nice, and I really love the bokeh. At times it felt like I was getting a really nice oval, not completely circular bokeh, which is really pleasing to look at. Now the images that coming out of the Sony camera, I'm not a Sony guy, I'm pretty much a Canon guy, but the images look really good. I really like the color out of this lens. It's super neutral, it's super flat. It's very easy to grade. It's really easy on the eyes. Now, one thing I'm not sure if they intended to do this way, but I'm gonna give them the credit and say that they did. So at the front of the lens, there is a ton of extra space with step up rings kind of thing. So I feel like they're trying to create a universal size for the lenses to kind of make sure that when you're switching matte boxes or you're switching lenses on a gimbal, they all kind of remain around the same, front weight, so that there's no having to rebalance anything, and it makes it a little bit easier for you. So if that was the intention, I really appreciate that, because there is a lot of extra space in front of the lens. So if that wasn't the intention, that's a little weird, but I'm just gonna say that that was how they intended it for their next few lenses, and that is something that is really taken into account when it comes in the film world, because having to switch lenses, rebalance things takes a lot of time, and when you're on set, time is everything. But overall use of the lens, it's super nice. And honestly, if you guys are looking for something with a T-stop of 1.0, I don't know what you're going to use it for, but the bokeh is actually super amazing. Again, it's really nice, and I really like using the lens. This was actually pretty nice. Now, I really wish it wasn't the Sony E mount that I had to work with. I could have used the Komodo with the RF mount, but limitations are limitations, and we did what we could. But again, Lens seems super amazing, super sturdy, and especially for the price of 600, yeah, it's pretty good deal. There's not too much to say about the lens, you know, there's markings. It's just your traditional cinema lens with a t-stop of 1.0. So there's a lot of capabilities. At times I felt like I might have wanted to do something with like a 50 instead of a 35. I felt like sometimes 35 might have been too wide, especially for the aperture of 1.0. I feel like if it was like a 50 millimeter or an 85 millimeter, we would get a lot more use out of the lens. Anyways, that is all for today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the lens? You think it's something that you might want to cop one day, or if you have your eyes set on somewhere else? Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. I will see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day. Keep pushing buttons, and I'll see you then. Peace.